This next one looks saucy, dude. I'm scared.
Hey there, I'm Migs with Elite4, and you're watching Sauced Up, a show with saucy questions and even saucier wings. Today we're joined with Steven Janowski, a local tattoo artist. Also, he's a musician, and also he does normal art too, not just tattoos. How are you with spicy foods?
I think I'm decent. I think I'll be good up till about here, and then this last bit.
You think like, you know, on the scale? Tell
I'm
me
thinking
when
up
to
to the
stop.
garlic
Right
reaper.
here?
I think I'll be good. Past that, I'm a little scared. And when I'm start crying around here, don't mind that. That's just my allergies. I'll be fine. Is this chili maple hot sauce?
Yeah, my wing's incredibly small. It's because we got the last 20 wings here. Sorry, but this is the first wing. Me and your wife recently went to Taiwan and Japan. Comparing the two, who would you say has the better food?
I guess it's what you want out of it. I'm more of a Thai food guy myself, but it was just different, but both delicious for sure. Yeah, I mean, the first night we were in Japan, we stopped at this little place. Looked like it was out of an anime or something. You know, it had like black window shades with a red Japanese writing on it, and the windows cracked from the top, and smoke's just pouring out of it. It just looks like, dude, we're going to eat in there, man. That looks insane. And we went in there, and it's just nothing but skewers, like, of all different types, you know, mainly like weird stuff like chicken livers, chicken meatballs, you know, beef whatever, you know, strange things like that. But the guy there was just super nice. They had like a chef's choice, so I was just like, well, we're going for that. And actually that was one of the phrases I learned to say in Japanese, just because they don't speak English as well over there. I learned to just say like, what do you recommend?
Oh yeah?
And I don't remember it anymore. It's been years, but you know, sometimes if we'd go in somewhere and they didn't speak English, pretty adventurous palate-wise, so just, you know, throw them a what do you recommend in Japanese, and they're like, this, you know, they say something like, cool, let's do that. And one of the things, you know, she's trying to be like, chicken wing? I was like, yeah, I'll take some chicken wings. Sure, that sounds awesome.
This is the bliss and vinegar.
Nice.
Cheers. So while you were in Japan, you got tattooed by the legendary Horoyoshi the third?
Horoyoshi 3.
Horiyoshi's number 3, right?
Or the third, yeah, either way. Yeah.
Can you tell me how that went?
It's in a residential area, right? And it's just a huge triangular block of like condos. And you don't even know it's a tattoo shop unless you get there, and trying to find it, you know, it's, you end up walking down these alleyways, and then there's a corrugated green plastic over it. So like, unless you knew it was there, like even with knowing what block it was in, it was still like us walking around the block multiple times, walking in the alley. And I even got my coworker, Cody, there's a book called Studying Horoyoshi 3 where it has a picture of the outside of his shop. And the night before, I was just like, man, can you send me a picture of that picture in that book just in case? I just have this feeling like we might have a hard time. Once we got there, we saw the staircase with the white moped, and it was like, oh, it's just like the picture in the book. And we're like, okay, fuck yeah, this is the spot. He had 2 hours till his next appointment, and, you know, he's kind of just like, what do you want? You know, I'm just like, you know. And at first I was like, maybe that and a snake, and he's like, you know, no, I don't have time for that, but I'll just do just the flower. I'm like, you know, cool. Yeah. Get it done. It was one of the most painful tattoos. That dude's machine's like, sounds like where I tattoo, it sounds like if I just gave that dial another like up into nothing. Like, but it's fast as hell. He did that thing in about an hour 15 minutes, color everything, no drawing on, no shaving my leg. You know, and so even when he kind of lay down on the floor, he kind of almost put me in ankle lock, like turned my ankle, more or less sat on it, started tattooing me, and I'm just like, and of course I'm trying to look back, and so I'm, you know, turned, and eventually I got like kind of a cramp in my leg, and I kind of moved, and he was just like, oh, and I'm just like, all right, man, yeah, I won't look anymore. That was cool what you were doing back there, but.
You want to move on to wing number 3?
Sure.
The good old Hoff sauce. since your high school days, you've always been in a band of some sort. Either it's a Black Child Avatar, Mechanically Separated, DFF, and now you have Primordial, right?
Yeah, this is true.
What band did you have the most fun with, or just like the fondest memories of?
Man, it's a really tough one just because each one kind of like, bands can be kind of like relationships, I guess. So it's kind of like you hopefully look back on them fondly. Of course, you know, there's a reason why it ended and wasn't all 100% great, but each one of them kind of marks a period in your life, I think. And so like, it's hard for me to say which one I liked the most or which one I had the most fun in, because they're all part of me growing up and having good times in each one, you know, otherwise I probably wouldn't have done it.
Yeah. I like it. Yeah, Primordials. I like y'all listening to y'all Primordial stuff.
Oh, thanks, man.
Let's go on to the next one. Wing number 4.
Cheers.
This is the barbacoa one. So with Primordial, I think technically it's Primordial number 2. Why is that?
Well, there is a band from Ireland called Primordial, and we just ended up putting the umlaut on the O. We kind of thought at the time that was a good enough concession to where it's like, oh, it's not the same band name. We got this umlaut, and also the umlaut, like, you know, you're following in the fine tradition of bands like Motorhead, Blue Oyster Cult that also rock the umlaut. So you're kind of like, you know, aligning yourself with these bands, and hopefully siphoning off a fraction of their power into your music, you know, these 2 dots. So you're like, all right, dude, let's get it. We can't let them down, you know. Fucking Lemmy's Ghost, look at me now. Notice me, senpai. You know. And so I think.
I mean, were you trying to be different? Like, were you afraid of that other band like reaching out to you or something?
I think at the time when we first, actually, we've kind of even been thinking of renaming the band right now because it is like too close. You know, it's kind of one of those things. Most Americans have a weak grasp of punctuation.
Yeah.
So I mean, umlaut just flies over their heads. They're not used to that shit. They don't even notice commas or periods. So
how are you supposed to say it?
I would just say a primordial. I think maybe the proper pronunciation might be primordial, but
I like it. It sounds extra metal that way.
Yeah, I know, it's terrible. I have the umlaut on my band, and I don't even know the proper pronunciation, honestly, for what umlaut does. I think that might be correct.
Getting your first tattoo can lead to some pretty awkward experiences in the tattoo room.
Yeah.
Do you have any memorable moments or like stories of some really awkward first timers?
Man, I definitely have some awkward tattoo stories, but first timer specifically, maybe not.
What about just the normal ones then?
I was doing this pinky on tiger on this dude, so it's kind of a tiger standing on some rocks. Little waterfall, splash of water off the rocks. Started doing this tiger on his back. I started with the foot, and I got like partway through the foot, and he's like, man, I don't know. I think I might have to say, fuck it. This ain't feeling too good. And I'm like, what?
God.
No. And I had him, you know, laid out on the massage table, and eventually that's like what his line was, man, I'm gonna have to say, fuck it. And he was about to get up, and I kind of just would hold his arm down while I'm dipping for more ink. Like, dude, let's just get the outline done.
At least something,
you know,
right?
You can come back, and anyway, you get through I basically had the foot, part of the rock, a little splash of water, and at one point, you know, I went to go get ink and ointment at the same time, and he just hopped up and threw his shirt on. I'm like, man, fuck this.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and walked to the front, bitched at his wife that, woman, you told me it wasn't gonna hurt back there, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I was freaking out. And at the time, I only made him pay the minimum because I was only tattooing him for, you know, 5 minutes.
Jesus.
And nowadays, if that ever happened again, I would just make him pay for the whole thing, and with the hopes that they would come back because it's already paid for.
Yeah.
And anyway, I ended up doing like a devil SpongeBob on that dude's wife years later.
Devil SpongeBob.
Years later, and like I kind of knew it was that dude, right? Because that's a pretty obvious guy. It'd been so many years, but I'm like, that has to be him. There's no other dudes this tall and big, and I'm like, and sure enough, it was him. And he was like, yeah, man, I want to get this finished. People keep asking what this paw is about. And then when me and my coworkers discussed this event of like me seeing him again, like, damn, dude. What can I do? And someone was like, dude, you should just put a like a bear trap on that paw and just put the bone sticking out with blood, and he could just be like, yeah, that was the one that got away. You know, the tiger got caught in the trap and he was so ferocious he chawed his own leg off to get away. You know?
You ready to move on to wing number 6? So we're right here.
All right.
We're on the first wing of the back half.
All right. Cool.
This is what, the Revolution sauce?
Yeah, that's what it says. Yeah.
Halfway through, here we go.
So far, I'm liking that these aren't like slathered to where it's just getting on like my upper lip, into my nose, into my sinuses. So far, that's been nice. That's, I think, what I was afraid of coming onto this. Like, holy shit.
Oh, yeah.
So far, very pleasant. These are delicious wings. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, like the fashion world, tattoo can have its trendy phases, right? Like we're talking like tramp stamps, butterfly tramp stamps, like, you know, tribal.
Them. Come back. Bring them back, ladies.
We got some arrows. We went through the arrows trendy phase, and then recently I felt like we went through the words that turned into birds.
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
that was a little phase.
That's the whole thing, yeah.
What trendy phase do you think we're currently in? And do you ever think that these trendy phases will ever get recycled like they do like in the fashion world?
For sure. I think some of it is already starting to come back. Some things kind of get dated for sure. I think as long as you stick with something kind of classic, like, you know, obviously flowers, animals, normal tattoo stuff, daggers, girl faces, all that is always going to be somewhat popular. But as far as the trends, you know, like infinity signs with names, that's the kind of stuff that gets dated. But something like trends like koi fish or like butterflies.
Those are your more
that kind of stuff where, yeah, but that has been things that have been huge trends. And some of them kind of almost came back around, like butterflies started to come back around. I think that was big when I started. And I think those kind of things will continue to come back around. Whereas like the one-time trend things like, you know, like you're saying, the quotes turning into birds or something, that kind of stuff will probably have its moment and more or less die out.
The garlic reaper.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably the most metal wing I have on.
Well, I love garlic and I respect the reaper. So, woo, yeah.
Yeah, a little jump, right?
Getting interesting.
I taste the garlic,
Bit.
but there's another flavor in there that I'm not too happy about.
Yeah. Woo, that's getting like to the hot point where it's like, man, this is a little bitter and just kind of chemical warfare-y.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. It's more of an assault on my tongue than delicious flavor, but.
Whew, it is. That one doesn't play.
Oh, yeah.
So, let me ask you, which place is best for a swim? Little Green Bay in Michigan State, or the Danby Marble Quarry?
Fun Danby story. One time I was there, and you know, I'd been in Vermont for a bit. I hadn't been swimming in there yet, and I just happened to be in that area driving past there, and was like, you know what? Like, it was kind of misty out, a little rainy, not great, but I hadn't been swimming in that yet, and I'm like, well, might as well stop and go swimming now because it might be the last chance I get before I leave. So I go, I didn't have a swimsuit or anything, but no one else is there because it's all misty and crappy. And so I just go in my underwear or whatever, no big deal. Jumping in the water. Well, this dude shows up on the other side and he's like doing gainers off these huge blocks of marble into the thing, and I'm just like, holy crap. So I'm yelling at him across the thing. It's just me and him there, and he has an ankle bracelet on. And he's like, yeah, my house is just right here. As long as I stay in this area, I can still come swimming here. I was like, well, that's got to be like one of the best house arrests ever. You know,
Right?
this dude's got it made. He's over here busting gainers off marble blocks. That was pretty interesting, and you know, I didn't go over there, but me and him were yelling back and forth for a minute, and then I was like, it's cold in here, man. I'm gonna put my pants on and go back home. But I know you won't see this guy, but if you do, sweet gainers.
Ready for the next wing? It's the
Doubtful.
bomb.
Doubtful. But we'll see. I'm gonna eat it anyway.
Let's go.
So far, I'm not like hating it.
That's good. Normally, everyone hates this one.
I wonder why. No, it's not super bad. I feel like the last one was worse. I kind of like the flavor on this one actually better, which is weird. I love garlic.
So, if you had all the acres you could want and all the time to spend on a garden, what would you grow?
God.
And what kind of garden would it be?
Well, I think if I had endless time, the answer to that is damn near endless. But, obviously I'd like to grow a lot of vegetables and certain crops that are still, as of yet, illegal in Texas. But not in most of the U.S., so hey, maybe our progressive asses will get there one day. But yeah, stuff like that. I would love to be able to grow strains of things that are not commercially available. That's one thing when I have had gardens I like to try and focus on. Like, I don't want to just buy a plain type of tomato. I like to get like a cool heirloom variety or just something different peppers you can't buy at the store. Like growing jalapenos in your garden never really appealed to me. I want to grow, oh yeah, that thing's hitting out.
Yeah,
I want to grow dumb peppers like this that I'll never eat. Feed to my guitar players to watch him make an expression like what I'm making now. Holy crap.
Oh man. Yeah, it seems kind of redundant to grow anything in your garden that you can get at HEB.
Right, if you can pay money for it, like...
Which is a little known fact, you used to work at HEB. And do you have any fond memories working at HEB?
Not that I recall, to be honest.
I heard you hated it.
Yeah, but walking out was like fun as memory. Calling my friend on a payphone to come pick me up so I could leave. Sorry.
Well,
I love you guys at Store HEB. All you do for Texas, y'all are great. Me working there is not a good fit.
You want to power through it and go to ring number 9? At that point, I feel like my taste buds are gone.
We'll see. This next one looks saucy, dude. I'm scared. They spilled it on this one.
That's why we call it sauce step. The sauce is gonna get us.
Jesus Christ.
Here we go, man. Scorpion disco. Whew. All right, man. So, after tattooing for so many years, have you seen the gradual shift of the acceptance of tattoos from being looked down upon to now being socially accepted? And have you ever been a victim of the stigma of having a lot of tattoos?
I don't know if I'd say I was a victim. I was hated on. I didn't let them make a victim out of me just because they didn't like it. That was their problem,
Yeah.
But, I mean, I guess I did technically get arrested one time because my friend had a lot of tattoos. The state trooper kind of pegged him for it. Oh, gee, thanks.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Dylan.
What a kind guy.
Sorry. So like the show, it's a little tradition that we put a little extra on the last one to end on a blast. Now you don't have to do it.
Huh. Well.
No shame in not doing it. But I will put a little extra dab. Ooh, that one's still burning me. Disco.
That's about as best I can do.
More than enough. Steven, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Here we are. Whew. That's a hot wing.
Yeah. We'll see, man. They've been hitting me late.
It has that delayed effect, right?
Right.
Steven, here we are. With your mouth on fire.
Yeah, that's a bit.
My mouth is pretty on fire too. So we all know that you are a very talented musician. You fucking shredded the song. There it is.
Hey man, you had me. I was good until you told me I was a talented musician.
happy.
Oh fuck!
We've seen you.
I better go home and learn my major and minor scales. I can fake it after this.
We've seen you shred guitars, but it didn't start there. It didn't even start with the trumpet in middle school. It started back in the day with the recorder.
Oh, yeah?
Back when you used to do recorder little seminars and in elementary school. Brian, if you will, with your mouth on fire.
Do I
Could you
still
give
know
us-
hot cross buns?
Could you give us a little sample of your skills on the recorder?
There it is, hot cross buns for everyone.
Steven, 10 wings up, 10 wings down. You completed the sauced up challenge. You
Hey,
got
here we
this
are.
camera, this camera, this camera. Tell the world where they can find you at. Say anything you want to say.
I work at Top Tattoo in Victoria, Texas, and that's where I live and hang out.
Yeah, come see Steven
Shout out
at
to my
Top
son
Tattoo.
Neil, my wife Melanie, love y'all. Oh, I'm high on fire. I love that band. This feeling not so much.
I never had a father.